everyone, my name is Alexandra and welcome to another video with Creative 404. In today's video we're going to create this simple summer dress pattern, which is a continuation of last week's pattern, the regular summer dress. I thought in this case I would make a summer dress with a bigger bodice and a smaller skirt. To continue, I decided to create this little dress in a sort of rainbows and blue skies kind of design. I had this beautiful rainbow fabric with the tiny print, which just works really well for this particular scale, and I am super excited about it. I also picked out some old lace that I had in my collection, and I decided to use one for the front of the bodice, and then I cut one in half, and I decided to use it for a trim, so I have this little scalloped edge at the bottom of the skirt. So that is what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to make this beautiful summer skies and rainbows kind of summer dress for you guys. So to begin, we are going to do the bottom hem of this dress, and because I'm using some beautiful lace, I'm going to put the lace right sides together and then sew along the edge, then turn it like so and do a top stitch so that this beautiful scalloped lace shows just barely at the bottom, so it looks like tiny lace. Okay, so for the rainbow fabric, I've added the lace, so it looks like tiny lace on the very bottom, and it's nice and scalloped. So you have the rainbows with the tiny lace on the bottom. Now I'm going to add the gathered lines on the very top while I still have the white thread in my machine. I forgot to add seam fray check to the edges of my seams, but that's fine. This dress is just for demonstration purposes. Actually, I'm probably going to just go ahead because I want to give this as a gift. So I'm going to go ahead and add some fray check to the seams, even the one that's on the back here, so that everything is nice and secure and well taken care of. So I'm going to do that off camera, but on camera, I'm going to talk to you about doing this particular part of it. So I'm going to sew the lace on either side, probably through the eyelets here, so that this piece of ribbon is on the front of my bodice. And then off camera, I'm also going to sew this lining on top of the bodice and then flip it inside out. So I'm going to do a bunch of different steps. I'm going to add the gather to the skirt, and then I'm going to sew the lace to the bodice, and then I'm going to sew the lining to the bodice. Now for the lining, all you're going to need to do is do the outside seams for the shoulder, and then you're going to do the inner seam. You're going to leave this seam right here and this seam right here open so that you can turn it inside out. And I'll show you that in a second. So in my last shot, I actually messed up. I said to go all the way across the bottom here. You really need to mark the shoulder seam, which I forgot. So I did this entire one here and messed up. So if you mess up, understand that it happens to all of us, even those that have been sewing for 12 plus years. So what you need is about an inch here and about an inch here. So what I did is I folded the pattern in half, measured about an inch, cut, and then cut the seam allowance off of that particular piece and used it as a template to mark each side of the shoulder. I use a bit of paper, like in all of my videos. I use a little bit of paper so that my fabric doesn't fall into the bobbin hole of my machine. So this is just recycled paper from patterns that didn't work. So as I make these patterns, I have a lot of paper that just goes into essentially the trash, but I recycle it for sewing applications and make it so that it works real well here. So for this pattern, we are going to start clipping it. So I'm going to clip here and here on either side of the shoulder seam, here and here. And then I'm actually going to give it a couple of notches inside the seam itself. Because this is a curve, you're going to want some notches to help alleviate the tension that goes along the edge of your fabric. Now I'm also going to do these corners. When you notch, try not to go across the thread. You want it to be just within your seam allowance. I'm folding this in half and then cutting away some of this bulk. So you end up with this little notch like so. And then I'm just going to take my bigger scissors and just give a nice long cut across those tips here. This way I can get really strong corners when it comes to these outer corners. So these outer corners get a nice long snip, and these inner corners get a nice bit of bulk miss. So just like that. Now I'm going to turn these right sides out. I find that using my disappearing ink pen or the end of my seam ripper really help with these turnings. It really worked on the last one at least. And so I'm just going to turn this right sides out. Through the shoulder seam and just help it along. I also used some fray check on my fabric so that the edges will stop fraying. Also, because I don't have a seamer, or what is it called, a serger, I like to use fray check as an alternative. Oh, look at that. That's just so pretty. I love that lace on that fabric. I think it really adds a bit of chic, a little bit of demure, kind of pretty little dress. Just a little something to look at. Nothing, sometimes these little dresses can look a little plain. I need to figure out if they still sell this lace, because I found this lace years and years ago, and I was just in my stash recently and I was like, what can I do to get rid of some of my stash? And it's funny because now that I am trying to get rid of some of my stash, I'm also like, where did I get this so that I can get more? Okay, here we go. Ta-da! Off camera, I'm going to iron this flat. After I've ironed it flat, I'm going to do the sides. So once you have it fully flat, you'll be able to see the sides a little bit better. And I'm going to take the back piece, which is this piece here, and fold it over the front and then do the sides. So I'm going to do all of that and I'm going to be back. So I just pressed my fabric with the iron and I haven't sewn the sides yet, but I wanted to make a little aside, and that is, if you want, you can actually go across all of your seams and do a top stitch to really get this to be nice. I'm going to forget that step right now because I kind of like it without it, but it is an option for you if you'd like to do it. So now I'm going to do the sides and I'll be right back. So I sewed the sides of my garment so that each side is attached with the right sides together. And I went ahead and clipped the seam a little bit. I clipped the corner that was right here, and I just went like snip, snip, and clipped it so that when it's open, you don't end up with a seam that is in the armhole. And I don't want any seams showing, so I left it at that. So I'm going to open these seams and going to iron them open like so, so that either side is on the fabric, so they're split in half. Iron it so that it's nice and open. It looks like I accidentally cut the seams a little too close to my thread right here, so it is coming a little undone, so that top stitch would have been very helpful right now. But this is only a tutorial, so I'm not going to be too concerned. Once I've ironed this down flat, I'm going to start gathering this fabric. One thing when it comes to gathering fabric, I take one edge and I tie a little knot. Usually it's the left edge. I'm right-handed, so the left edge gets a nice knot just to hold those threads in place. And then I'm going to separate these threads because they're all wound together right now. And I'm start to pull the one that's closest towards me, or whichever one is on the right side of the fabric. I'm going to start pulling that one and start gathering this so that it can fit the length of this. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. I'll be back. So I've gone ahead and pinned my fabric and sewn it together. Now all I'm going to do is cut where I tied the knot for these particular strings, and I'm just going to cut it off and then pull the rest of the string out, which sometimes it doesn't want to come out in one go, but that's fine. I just pull the gathered string out. Some of it, yeah, that's good. Some of it won't show on the garment, so that's fine if it still stays there. I see the top string though, so I want to take it out. I'm going to use my seam ripper and slowly pull this out of my garment. And be very frustrated because I didn't want it to show. There we go, got it. There we go, sweet. It just took a little bit of extra finesse to get it out. So, I'm going to iron this flat, and then what you're going to do is sew a top stitch across here. Then you're going to fold it in half and sew a back stitch. So I'm going to sew a top stitch along the bodice so that the skirt stays well, and then I'm going to do the back stitch. So I decided not to do the top stitch and just did the back stitch for the back lining. Went all the way to my little setup here. Now I'm going to turn it right sides out and we can see this beautiful dress. Oh my god, look at it. I am so happy. Oh my god, it looks gorgeous and it's not even on the doll yet. Ah, I'm so happy. Look at that. It's like blue skies and rainbows with lace. Oh my goodness. I'm getting more and more excited. So I'm going to add a snap right here at the very top so that it closes nicely, and then I'm going to put it on the doll so you can see. Let me pull out these shoulder seams a little bit more. Oh my goodness, look how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. And it's very beginner friendly. I mean, the gathers are a little bit hard, but everything else should be very simple and very easy for you to do. So I'm going to put the snap on, and then I'm going to put it on the doll. So let's see. So are you guys just ready to see it on the doll? Because, oh my God, it is gorgeous. Look at that. I know it's another headless Blythe doll, but look at that. Oh my God. I am definitely going to add this on my store opening. So I have an Etsy store that's going to open July 1st, 2021. And I am just super excited, and I'm definitely going to put this dress in my upcoming shop. It's going to be a limited sale because this fabric, I just have a very limited amount of the rainbow fabric. I might even make my own rainbow fabric for my own doll scale fabric line that I have coming up. I am just really excited about how this looks on this doll. It is just gorgeous. Oh, the blue skies, the rainbows. I've had this fabric for a good 10 months, maybe a little bit less than that. And I've been looking for just the right dress to put this beautiful rainbow fabric on. And I'm really glad I picked this particular pattern because it just looks so good. I'm like kind of shaking. It's so nice. I love it. I love the little bit of lace on the chest. I think it would work a little bit better on my flatter chest girl. But it fits the big bust girls. So if you have a big bust girls, which most people do, it will fit them just fine. I decided to go with a clear snap. These are 4mm snaps you can get at any clothing store. I think they're called like the Zeros here in the USA, but they're 4mm snaps, maybe 5. I'm not way too certain about that, but this is just so great. I adore her. I love this dress. I can't wait to give it to my friend. I have many friends here on YouTube now, and I'm really excited. And if you're the friend that receives this beautiful dress, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm really excited. I'm actually probably going to make a bunch of them, and I'll send them to a bunch of friends. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you enjoyed this video and you really appreciate receiving this very free pattern, please leave a like for this video. And if you got to the end, leave a like as well. It doesn't take much effort. Also, if you have any questions, or if you'd like to see another type of video, or if you have any suggestions on what other patterns I should put on my YouTube channel, leave it in the comments section below. I'm always reading them, and I'd love to see what you have ideas and thoughts about what should be the next pattern I should put up. I'm starting to lose like, what am I supposed to put up? I know I want to put up a pair of jeans and some overalls, but I'm still working on that pattern. I actually spent all last week working on a shoe pattern that didn't work out. This is like the umpteenth time I've tried making a shoe pattern for a doll and it never worked out. I spent all week working on it. I'm so disappointed. Anyway, if you like this video, leave it a like. If you'd like to see more like this, hit subscribe. I'm always doing these beautiful sewing tutorials every Wednesday. At least that's the goal right now, is to give you a sewing tutorial every Wednesday with a free pattern. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Yeah, I think I said that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye now. She's so pretty. Oh my God. I'm so excited.